Case?
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, here he be, my little muzzleloader buck. This buck right here, I feel goofy talking like this, but...
Bro, talk about it. It's a great story. You got a lot of history with you.
This buck here, we've seen for 5 years through cameras, trail pictures and stuff. Seen him once on the hoof on an archery hunt way down low. Oh, he was probably 100 yards with a group of bachelor bucks running, but this thing has occupied our mind for a good 5 years. Casey's got 3 sheds off him, a match set, and then a single off of what I think is a 2015 year, and then he's got a match for 2016, and then 2017, and 2018, and 2019. We never could turn up. He always hangs out around here, but we never could turn up those sheds. But they started a late muzzleloader hunt in this unit this year. I put in for it, and this is one of the bucks we wanted to get, and by God, we got him.
Tell the story, bro, of what we did to get him.
The first 3 days I was at work when it started, which was fine. Let some deer calm down around here and cool down a little bit. But we come in Saturday, hunted a couple canyons over and saw a few good bucks, and then come in here in the afternoon and stopped and glassed up in this bowl and a lot of deer. And Craig says, I think there's a big buck up there, big bodied deer. So he starts getting his stuff going, and I go back to my truck to get my Swarovski set up, my big binocs, and by that time he'd slipped off in the trees, and Craig said, that's a shooter buck. And he knows what, I mean, I honor everything he says about deer, so I knew that it was good. So that was Saturday night. Sunday morning we come in here and spent the whole day just sitting at the bottom, glassing. Didn't see a single buck in the morning, saw a lot of does.
Nope, we didn't see anything that morning, did we?
Nope.
As far as a buck.
Nope. I had smacked the rock with my truck on the way in.
Yeah, we got to tell that story, don't we?
Yep. So about 1:30 yesterday afternoon, which was Sunday, we decided we were going to go pull a couple camera cases off some water holes. And we turned around, and lo and behold, I looked where we were parked, and I had a big old puddle of freaking fluid. I had damaged something. We got out, looked around, and I had peeled back the rear differential, and I was draining freaking gear oil. So I thought that was the end of it for that. Luckily, Dean had some gear oil. We put some bubble gum in it, got to Dean's place, beat the crap out of it with the punch, and put some JB weld in it, put some gear oil in it, and come back up to glass. And we got back up here to glass where we had been all morning. And there was freaking deer all over the place, and lo and behold, he came out. It was kind of a smoky day, so it wasn't real clear. And we're glassing a long ways away.
Yeah, it was not a good glassing day.
And I was looking through this spot and scope on this right side, and I seen this 3-point frame, and I just in my mind, it was him.
It's hard to believe.
Yep.
It's hard to imagine.
Yep.
You're chasing a ghost for so long, and you're like, I don't know, but it all adds up.
It all adds up. I kept looking at that frame, and he wouldn't turn to show me his left side, and then he went, beelined it up over the top, and we were looking at him. You could see horns through pine trees every once in a while, but that was the end of it. Go home, look at trail camera pictures, texted him out, and I'm like, it's got to be him. So we made a plan. We come up this morning and hiked in, left the truck at 7:30, and got to kind of what you want to call a base camp for the day, and slept, ate, bullshitted till about 1:30. And then we crested over one draw back from us just to see if he had went in there. Wind was finicky and not good, and I'm standing up here glassing over, trying to glass as much of this bowl as I can, which was hard, and all of a sudden the snorting started. and the crashing started below me. And I'm like, son of a bitch. And 2 does come running. I mean, they had clear sailing to go straight down through the pines or go behind me, but no, they run snorting and wheezing
Over the top.
right into his bedroom. And I thought, our day
Thought
is
our
done.
day was done.
Well, we kept at it, and it was rocky and windy, and I was getting frustrated, and there was no real clear path to get here without skylining, there's some deer feeding down below.
Been a lot of deer in here.
Yeah, but anyhow, back to it. It wasn't easy to get to him, for sure. If the wind was blowing right, it would have been a lot easier, but it wasn't. But we finally kind of got to a place where we were going to be cliffed out with the cliffs up here behind us. And we creeped up, and I creeped over the top, belly crawled a little bit, and there's 3 does bedded. When I first come over, I thought they were 100. It ended up being 150 yards where they were bedded, but 3 does bedded. And they couldn't have been bedded any better for themselves to watch for trouble. They were looking right up at us. They didn't know we were there, but I'm like, God. So I backed out. We talked about it. We really couldn't do much. You know, we were just going to hang out. And I don't even think it'd been 5 minutes.
No.
I creep back up over the top, and the 3 does are still bedded, but one come running up from the pine tree behind it, and I'm like, whoa, shit, did they smell me now? And then he come walking up from behind that pine tree, and he was just tilting his head, sniffing, backing his nose up, and I was like,
What'd you say to us?
oh my hell, in my mind is what I said.
Right, but then
I creeped back, and I grabbed my muzzleloader, and I said, it's on.
it's on.
It's on.
It's on.
And I creeped forward.
Had to take a little
The first
breather.
time I put him in my scope,
I was
I
trying
was
to
like,
calm
oh
you down,
my
bro.
God, I gotta
was.
freaking back off a bit.
I
had to take a
could see it
breather.
in you. I was just like, bro, you got to calm down. Breathe.
I gotta back off a bit, and
Yeah.
I put it back off safety, and I'm freaking sitting there, and I'm looking at where my bipod is, and make sure it's on stable ground and not on loose rock and all that, and I thought, I'm good, I'm gonna go.
It was go time.
It was go time. I clicked it on fire and put it on him, and he was at that point facing straight at me, and I knew I didn't want to take that shot, and he was dipping his nose down, sniffing the does that were bedded at that time, or sniffing towards him. He was a good 5-10 yards behind him still. And then the doe he was chasing, he turned just slightly to, I guess, look at her, and opened up his left shoulder here and touched off, and he didn't go, he went down.
It was a good, ethical, what you want for a buck like this.
Yep, he went down. He didn't,
He didn't
feel anything,
suffer,
and
yep.
boy, the emotions started flooding in. I saw him sitting there, and just, he wasn't even twitching. And then you start high-fiving and screaming, hooting and hollering and all that, and I look back, and then he starts rolling, but he didn't roll out from behind the tree that I could see. So I felt good, and we had left our backpacks clear down the hill. So Craig and Case went down and got the backpacks, and I did several different scenarios, walking back and forward, up, down, and tried to glass, and I never could pick him up. And now you're sitting there, you're going, ugh, that sick feeling.
And the tree that you see behind you there, bro, you wouldn't have seen him, you know?
You're thinking, God, did I hit him good? But then he got back up, and you look, if this is steep country, if he gets to rolling and keeps going, he's busting horns, and he's in the bottom, and
It's going to be
we
tough.
got a mess.
Yeah.
And they probably 10-15 minutes is what it took for them to go down and get the backpacks and come back up. It felt like an hour to me, but we walked down here and come around behind here, and I could see his butt, and I just
Then the emotion started to flow, huh?
lost it.
Yeah.
But he is definitely all of ours.
He's a neat buck.
All of ours.
He is.
Max, he's a part of it too. He's not here, but
Yeah. You guys got a lot of history with that boy. He's lived a good life. He's getting a little bony on the back. It's a dry year. We don't know. I mean, it's hard. If we had a bad winter with as much rib and as much spine as you can see right now, I don't know if this deer would have made it.
yep. His front
But-
teeth are all worn.
Yeah.
We figure, just by cameras, pictures we have of him, 7 to 8 is
Yeah.
what we figure.
And hopefully this year they send you the results back. You got to send the teeth in on him, and hopefully they send them back to you.
Yep.
So you know exactly how old this buck is. But he's an old buck.
And he's my target buck.
Yep.
That's what
Exactly.
dreams are made of.
He's not a scoring buck, but that thing scores so high in my book.
He's a great
that's
scoring
all
buck.
that
Yeah.
matters.
He's an awesome scoring buck.
It's all that matters.
It's my favorite deer in the whole world.
Okay, let's talk about him a little bit. What do you got to say about this deer? You got to have something. You found some sheds off this buck. And I think you ought to mount a year for it. You know what I mean? That's an awesome. If you could look at this country down there and where he found these sheds down here, that's an impossible find. I mean, just dedication to find those sheds. That's tough country to rouse these sheds up. And he found a set off this buck.
2016 set.
2016 set and a single off of this buck. So, and now we've got the real deal.
Every year since
Yeah.
2016,
We've chased
the
him. And that's
hunt
been our
comes
goal
around
since
and
2016.
Yeah.
all I can think about is this deer. Every year.
Case was scared to death to call Kelly last night. Kelly,
Fucking-
thank you, buddy,
Thanks, Kel.
for letting him
There's
come
no
up.
way I could have missed this.
And we got her done today. Yeah, but you're still a prick.
Speaking
You're
of that,
still
we'll
a prick,
send
Kel.
old Kelly a text. Fruits
Yeah.
of his labor.
Yeah. But this is what we love to do, and love mule deer. We always have. And they're getting harder and harder to get.
Yep. They're definitely been our favorite forever.
Forever. They've been my favorite. Our
And
favorite.
They are just struggling.
Yeah.
It just hurts.
Thanks,
Hurts
fishing
to
game.
see.
Hey, but last year was the best freaking deer hunting season that we were ever going to see, according to them.
That's right. That's right. Get some close-ups up of him, Case, if you can. Zoom in on that base on him and all that stuff.
I just sent Kelly a text with the picture. And I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. It looks like I'm thanking God.
You up in the air? What a cool deer. I'm glad you got him, bro.
I'm glad you guys were with me.
Glassed him from way down there on that road.
Yeah, our point's just right down there, isn't it?
Our point is behind this pine.
In the pine, isn't it?
There. In fact, there's 3 dudes. It's 3. Yeah, it looks like 3 dudes sitting there on it right now.
Is there?
Yeah. Doesn't it, Case?
Yeah, no, there's 2 guys and a wheeler.
2 guys in a wheeler. Huh. You're too fucking late.
Neener, neener, neener.
Where we're at, they'd never see us.
Nope.
Not in 100 years. Well, with that, boys, bro, congrats, man. That's awesome. We better get
to work.
working and taking care of him.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
You got any game?